I think we're now live, but I'm just going to double check before we get things underway. Let's double check my audio is sounding as beautiful as ever, and we can get started. I think we're live. Hello everyone, welcome back to the GT Sport League. We're here for round number 5 of season 5, and we're at Laguna, Seca, located in America, and we're in the KTM Expos for this one. You can see the cars open effectively. We can see the drivers' suits, their helmets and everything inside these mini machines. 13 drivers on tonight's grid. Unfortunately, the Scout Dan couldn't quite make it to tonight's race. And yeah, my audio is working fine, just double checked it there. Hello and welcome everyone. We've got the usual 18-minute qualifying format. We're back to normalities here after the 3 races we had last week at the 3 Sardinias, with the reverse grids and a load of different concepts going into that Friday evening. But back to normalities with an approximately a 55-60 minute race. We've got 36 laps of this track. The 18-minute qualifying session now down to 15 minutes as drivers making their way through the middle sector for the first time on their flying laps. It's Play Dutchy, who will be setting the first time of the evening. He does have Finn behind him. I think Dutchy is going slightly, Manuel behind. I think Dutchy's going slightly quicker than Manuel as things stand, going through the dipper and the corkscrew, the dipper's Mount Panorama. 2 corners to go for Play Dutchy. There's one of them as he makes his way past the pit lane entrance on the left-hand side of the track. Through the final corner, we'll be setting the benchmark time right the inside curb a little bit, and that might cost him a tenth or 2. And as he makes his way up to the line, what time is it going to be? It's a 1:37.1. What about Manuel? He's past the 37s. He's in the high 37s, Finner high 37 as well. What about Wolfie? Goes 4th, Tobbs is 2nd. We've got Tiger Assassin in 7th place, but moves down into 8th places. Tim goes up into 5th, 7 thousandths behind Manuel. Ted setting a personal best with Piero 2 setting in times good enough for 2nd and 4th place. Webson's in on the leaderboard at, where is Webson? This is in 9th place ahead of Bonnie and Tiger Assassin. 3.5 tenths behind Wolfie. We've got drivers yet to set a lap. We've got I think it's Aston, going around the final corner up to the line. What time can he set? It's a 39.1, goes into 12th place. Tobster 5 thousandths behind Piero. It's 2 teammates out in front, 1 and 2. Just like things are in the Constructors' Championships. Dutchy and Piero leading the way, and they have a fairly comfortable advantage, but nothing too safe. It's still early on in the championship. I say early on, we're halfway through. We've got 9 races this season, the shortest calendar, but ultimately, because at the end of it we've got GT7 on the horizon, not to get confused with Forza Horizon at all. But we've got Finn going through the final few corners. I'm not sure if he's improving on his time. We'll cut up to Play Dutchy, who was 2 tenths down through the middle sector. Can he find that 10th time back? No, not quite, as he makes his way to the line. Finn does improve, goes up into 6th place. Manuel improves. Finn goes a little bit better, up into 2nd. Tobster gets up into the 2nd row of the grid, just ahead of Piero. Tim and Tiger improving, moving their way up the grid. Ted setting a new lap as well. Piero down on his personal best on his 2nd attempt. As Tobster just dips the wheel onto the ground, to the gravel, loses the back end slightly through turn 2 or turn 3. I'm not sure if that little kink actually counts as a corner. Apologies, my mic is getting caught up. Hang on, let me sort that. There we go. So Aston setting the new personal best, goes up into 11th place. Play Dutchy leading the grid out on track. And in the qualifying session, what's this middle sector split though? Is he improving? We won't find out until after the corkscrew. Has gone a little bit deep, but he's kept it within the track limits. and he's purple by a tenth and a half. This could be a mega lap from your 3-time champion. As there's only a few corners to go. One corner, the final corner, is about 135-degree left-hander, just a little bit more than 90. And rounds the final corner, uses all the curb available on the outside. What's it going to be? It's a long run up to the line in these cars, that is, and it's a 1 minute 36.9. The first driver in the 36s. And he's 4/10 clear of his teammates in second place. What about Tobster? Doesn't look like he's improving. No, he doesn't improve, nor does Wolfie, as our drivers making their way up to the line. What about Tim? He does improve, goes up into 8th. Websons, we've got Toussaint going up to the line. Pierre and Ted both improve. Toussaint goes up into second place, 2/10 off of Play Duchy. Piero in fifth, fifth, sorry. 6 thousandths ahead behind Tobster and 600ths ahead of Manuel. A really close and competitive grid tonight. You always love to see these things. Just trying to get some track facts ready for when we get the lights counting down, but I can't find a reliable source. I will find something. Don't you worry about it. I'll always find my statistics. Hello and welcome to everyone tuning in. I think we might see a few drivers pit this lap. We'll just wait and see if what the sector splits are like, because that can often determine whether someone dives it into the pits. On board with Toussaint as he makes his way through the corkscrew. Play Duchy is into the pits. You can see the active suspension moving on the front of these cars. They're absolutely incredible little things. And lots of deadly sausage curves, as you'll see on the inside of a lot of these corners. That little red curb on the inside can really throw these cars off course as Toussaint decides to come into the pits. Finn stays out for another lap. If anyone's interested in watching these cars change tyres, here you go, because we kind of reached a bit of a dead zone in qualifying per se, with all the drivers into the pits for a new set of rubber, with no one really improving on their lap time. Tiger Assassin is on an out lap, so let's get an on-board lap from the Brit. On board, uses all the curb available on the outside of the track. It's a long run towards turn 1, certainly in these cars that are slightly slower than the ones that we're used to in this championship. Through the little kink of turn 1, breaking about the 4th board on the right hand side, maybe even 3rd, as hooking up the first apex nicely. The car will want to understeer wide, but hooks up the second apex nicely. He's got a lot of traffic in front of him. Tobster, Wolfie and one other car, not too sure who it is. I think it's Manuel. Tiger runs wide onto the gravel and just about keeps the car going in a straight line, but I don't think he'll be improving on this lap. I think it is just Finn, who is also on a timed lap, but I'm going to put money on him pulling into the pits this lap. I take that back as he stays out and does another run. Is he improving on his time? We'll have to wait and see. It does actually look decent. It's only a 10th off his personal best. Tiger Assassin, after making mistakes, probably not going to improve on this lap. We've got a variety of colours making their way through this middle sector. We've got red, white and blue, yellow, black, green and purple. That's pretty much most of the colours in the rainbow in 3 cars. Going through one corner. They might want to space out a little bit if they're to not get in each other's way. But they have kept a reasonable distance to Tiger Assassin. He's just catching the back of it now and might get a little bit of slipstream, but the gap just looks a little bit too big. So we've got Tobster starting his lap. We've got 7.5 minutes left to go in qualifying. He makes his way through the first couple of corners. Someone has crashed at turn 4. Not too sure who that is. Right on board though with Tobster to see if he can improve on his personal best. He's currently in 4th place, 5.5 tenths off Play Duchy and only a 10th off Finn. He's running a little bit wide onto the gravel and he's 400ths off his personal best. The back end stepping out to try and get the rotation he needs. as it's a short run up towards turn 5, braking kind of at the 2 board, not really 100 metres or 50 metres, they're 1, 2 and 3s in Laguna Seca. Approaching turn 6, a fast left-hander. Well, fast in these cars certainly. You don't want to take too much of that sausage curb, as it can throw you out onto the gravel, and a lot of those curbs around this track. That's going to be Topster's lap over. I think Wolfie followed him through, looked a little bit out of shape there. Meanwhile, we keep an eye out on Manuel's time. Might get a penalty for going over the curb down the corkscrew. He's narrowly improving on his time, and there is a 5/10 penalty handed to his name, and he will be serving that immediately. With your season 1 champion now, who's a 2/10 off his personal best, it doesn't look like he can improve unless he finds it all through the middle sector. Tim is over a second off his personal best. Doesn't look like he can improve. Play Dutchie making his way through the first sector. Topster slowing down to serve a 5/10 penalty across the line. So he's not going to improve on his next lap. We've got Webson's on the time. We've got Ted up to the line. He's not improving. What about Tim? He's not improving either. He was 1.8 seconds off his personal best. So it's going to be Play Dutchie, the next driver to set a personal best lap. And let's get some cockpit cam with these cars. You can see a clear road ahead, no windscreen or a roll cage to block the driver's view. It's a nice clear open road ahead. Going through turn 6, hooks the apex nicely, uses all the curb available on the right hand side of the track to carry as much speed through the corner as possible up towards the corkscrew. Can he cork the screw, or will he screw the cork? We'll have to wait and see. It looks like he's negotiated it pretty nicely, although he is a 10th and a half off his personal best, which is currently the provisional pole time. 4 minutes 40 left on the clock, braking as the 2 board for the penultimate corner. Doesn't take the sausage curb on the inside, which will throw him off into the gravel. Into the final corner. One sausage curb he probably can afford to ride, as he works his way up through the gears, up to the line. What time is it going to be? None that's quicker than his 36.9. Finn starting a lap, Topster into the pits. Tiger and Wolfie going around the final corners. Let's see what both drivers can do respectively. Tiger can do a 37.2 and Wolfie can do a 38.0. Tiger goes up into 3rd while Wolfie maintains 10th. But with Piero down in 6th and Tiger and Toussaint up in 2nd and 3rd, it's only qualifying. No points available in this first session, but it's looking good to try and crawl some points back in Constructors. And with the reduced point system we have compared to last season, every point counts, as Tim puts himself up into 5th place and will join Topster, his teammate, on the 3rd row of the grid. Toussaint coming out of the pits as a few drivers making their way through the middle sector. Aston the only one in sector 3. Currently running in 12th place, a 10th behind Webson's, 1.4 seconds off of your championship leader and provisional pole sitter. I think he is going to be the next driver to set a lap. We just missed his sector split, but wait and see if he's going to improve or whether he'll come into the pits for one last time. No, he stays out, and with 3 minutes left to go, he's got about 2 laps left to extend his advantage out in front. Can he do it on this lap though? A little bit of a slide through the final corner. Sport tyres on these cars, none of the racing tyres, as traditions really. Play Dutchie extends his lead out in front. It's a whopping time from him, 3/10 ahead of Finn, who puts himself on the front row of the grid, a 1:38.7. An absolutely blistering lap time. Only 4 drivers, I think, are in the 36s. Let's get all the race info available on the screen so we can actually see the lap times. A few drivers improving. Manuel up into 5th place with a 37.3. It's only Play Dutchie, into the 36s. Absolutely incredible. He's almost in the mid 36s. Webson's improves, goes up into 11th place. And we've got a few drivers going around the final corner, if I can find who they are. Tops are getting a little bit out of shape through the final corner. One of those drivers was Piero, one of them was Toussaint, one of them was Tobster, both on outlap, starting their penultimate lap here in qualifying. Who's that soul going around the final corner? It is Aston, and he is improving on his lap time. He's in 12th place with a 38.4 ahead of Ted, behind Webster's, but can he get himself higher than the last row of the grid? Yes, he can. Goes up into 11th place with a 38.1, a tenth and a half behind Wolfie. Dutchie going around the final corner to finish his penultimate lap, to start his final lap. Does he extend his advantage out in front? Not quite, only a tenth off his personal best. Maybe there's more pace for him to find. What about Finn? He does improve. Almost in the 36s, it's a 37 flat and goes 2.5 tenths slower than Play Dutchie. But these margins are so fine in these cars, you can really extract a lot of time from them. For those who saw the Nations Cup, they took these cars around these tracks, at this track, sorry. We have adopted the same settings per se, not the same tyre and fuel settings, but the same format, the same combination is the word I was looking for. Ted found the final corner, he's not improving. Tiger starting his lap, Piero about to finish, possibly in the slipstream of Wolfie, goes up into 4th place, splits Tiger and Toussaint, and is 0.444 off of his teammates' time. Final laps in qualifying are about to get underway as the timer ticks 0 and counts down the final 2 minutes left to go here in qualifying. What can Aston do? Can he get ahead of Wolfie? He beat him once in a championship and he's beaten him again in qualifying by 0.05 of a second. Play Dutchie though, currently on provisional pole position. Can he extend his advantage out in front? Will he claim another pole position, or can anyone else stop him? The checkered flag is being waved. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. He's a tenth off his time. What about Finn though? We've seen his pace in qualifying. Can he knock Dutchie off the front row? No, he can't, but will start a maximum of a solid 2nd place. Someone's off into the gravel. That's Bonnie. He's not going to be improving in this qualifying. Will start no higher than 7th place. Finn's teammate started on pole in his return to the league at Monza. What can he do tonight in these KTM Expos? Up to the line. He doesn't improve and he's 2 tenths off his personal best. Trying to find the next driver to cross the line. It is Ted, followed by Tiger Assassin. Ted running in 13th place. He's run wide through the final corner. He may not see himself improving as he crosses the line. And he's set a 38.6. Does actually improve, goes up into 12th place. What about Tiger Assassin? He doesn't improve. Wolfie does improve, goes up into 10th. Piero in 4th. We still got the likes of Toussaint and Tobster going up to the line. What can the German do? Goes up into 6th. What about Toussaint? He doesn't improve. Who else is crossing the line? We've got Tim doing a practice start as he will see out this qualifying session. But it is Play Dutchie then who will start on pole position here at Laguna Seca. And it's going to be Finn joining him on the front row of the grid. Toussaint in 3rd, followed by Piero in 4th, Tiger in 5th, Tobster in 6th. Can't remember the rest. But we're about to get round number 5 underway here in the KTM Expos. The rest of the grid will appear on the screen. Look how beautiful those cars look, all on the grid. With all their different liveries, this is going to be an insane race. So we're at Laguna Seca for round number 5 in this 9-round championship, and it's the KTM Expos. The drivers will be driving tonight 36 laps of this track in America. Dutchie on pole, 5 red lights are out, and away we go for the 5th time this season. And it's a good start from Finn. Pulls alongside the Dutchman, has the inside line going into towards turn 1. I'm sure Toussaint will be looking a little bit hungry in the background. Manuel looking to try and gain moves. It's 3 wide with Tobster on the inside. Manuel, Bonnie and Tiger 3 wide as Tim's trying to get involved down in 9th place. As up in front, Finn is challenging Dutchy on the inside. Toussaint looking interested in the background. Finn trying to go for a move from a lead off the race. Dutchy running over the camera. A few drivers running over the cameras as they're still not going to go wheel to wheel. Dutchy gets the edge in front. Manuel up into 6th place. Tiger and Bonnie going wheel to wheel in the run down towards turn 5. Tim and Wolfie going wheel to wheel in the background as well. That's Toussaint on the inside. Finn makes a tad bit of contact, gets the move done. Wolfie and Tim going side by side in the battle for 9th place. Who's going to come out on top in their personal affairs? Wolfie on the inside. Does he tuck in behind or does he send it? Tim just gets the nod ahead as up the hill they go in towards the corkscrew. A little bit of contact between Manuel and Tobster, who just slots in between Tiger Assassin and the Austrian. As does everyone negotiate the corkscrew for the first time in this race? Yes, indeed they do. Pierre's down to 13th place. I'm not too sure what happened to him, but Dutchy with a 5/10 advantage out of Toussaint. He'll be wanting to close down that gap as quickly as possible. Tiger on the inside of Tobster. After I think Tobster tried to go for a move on Manuel. Here goes Tiger on Manuel to the inside and towards the final corner. Tobster on Bonnie. Even they're 3 wide in towards the final corner. Manuel's been forced off the track as Tim trying to capitalise on these positions as well. Lots of tyres screaming as they complete the first lap. Tobster and Tiger complete it side by side, wheel to wheel. Ted up into 8th place, capitalising on all these wheel to wheel battles going on across the grid. As that's late from Tim on the inside of Bonnie as he's got the move down. A beautiful send from the Finn. Tim in the Ted in a stunning 8th place. He'll be looking for revenge and redemption from Sardinia B, and well, from the driver who was blamed at fault by the stewards, given an LLP2 is the next car on his overtaking list. Bon Evil currently running in 7th place. Single file on lap 2, turn 5. As I never realised how banked that corner was until you see it in the spectator cams, all 13 drivers making it through fairly cleanly. Pierre though dropping to the back of the grid. Toussaint putting Dutchy under pressure. Only 2/10 separating the top 2 going into the corkscrew, as it's a little incline followed by a very steep downhill right-hander. Tiger trying to get ahead of Tobster, but he's got his Tobster's teammate right behind him to put him under some pressure. As Ted now dropped down to 9th place. He's got Manuel ahead of him in 8th place. He's run wide through the penultimate corner, but his teammate's not quite close enough to capitalise on the mistake. Dutchy leads the field for the 3rd time this race as he leads lap 3 of 36, but he's got pressure behind him in the form of Toussaint and Finn. The top 3 pulling away from the rest of the field. Tobster battling with Tiger, who might go for a move down the inside and towards turn 1. Has a look for it, but doesn't decide to send it as Bonnie's trying to work his way around the outside and towards turn 2. But you've got to get up fairly early in the morning if you're going to go round the outside of Tim, especially in towards turn 2 at this track in these type of cars. As the front 3, Dutchy, Toussaint, Finn, just pulling away from the top 4. From the 4th and below. As you can see the train from 4th to 8th, 1st to 3rd, followed by 9th to 13th. We kind of got three different trains forming early on in this race. Tobster getting ahead, or maintaining ahead of Tiger, who's looking for a move on the inside. Is he going to try and send one into the corkscrew, riding on board with the Brit? He may look to send one, but I don't think he's close enough to go for a lunge to the inside and risk both drivers going off into the gravel. Toussaint has closed up a lot to play. Dutchy's now 2/10 behind. The 2 drivers, 2 champions in this league, fighting for the lead of this race early on, but they've got the chasing pack behind them. Tobster, Tiger, Tim, Bonnie, Manuel, all trying to close in. A little bit of a snap from Toussaint through the final corner, as you can just see the train these cars are in. Ted and Wolfie could in fact be gaining, as in that run up towards turn 2, Finn is a lot closer to Toussaint than Toussaint is to play Dutchy. Doesn't actually go for a move on the inside. What about Tiger? He doesn't send anything either. A lot of these drivers could be working together. Manuel going a little bit wide. Could have been later on the brakes than Bonnie in front. Might not have wanted to made contact. But these cars were running really close to one another. A little bit of a mistake possibly from Manuel. The car getting a bit out of shape. I think Tiger ran a little bit wide, or someone ran a bit wide onto the sausage curve, and that is exactly not what you want to be trying to do here at this track. Lost him a lot of time. You can see Tim, Bonnie have both caught up to these guys. These two came together last week, Tim and Bonnie. Hopefully they don't come together this week, running in 6th and 7th place as things stand. Ted 1.2 seconds behind Manuel. Had we been running a weak slipstream, would be in the slipstream range, but it's about 7-8 tenths is the slipstream range, because we're running it on realistic. Tiger well within that margin, 1.5 tenths behind Tobster. Going through the final sector, is he going to be close enough to send one in towards the final corner? Is he going to wait for turn 2? You might try and work together with Tobster if they're fairly matched on pace. Maybe try and conserve the tyres. Tyre wear is on times 10. Drivers in the sport, softs and mediums are the tyres available. So the SS and the SMs. And both tyres are mandatory, and they're the only two tyres available. Tobster going defensive to the inside, with Tiger trying to work something on the outside. Tim defending the inside to Bonnie Evil, who can't quite find a way through, although he's got a little bit wide through turn 2. He's doing a little bit of rallycross as he's able to maintain ahead of the Brit. Manuel's looking a little bit interested in the background. Bonnie's going to try the alternate line, get the cut back on Tim. They're going to go wheel to wheel through turn 4, and Tim just gives it up a little bit, but that opens the door for Manuel to go down the inside. These two now going wheel to wheel and run down towards turn 6. And can he hold it round the outside? Not quite. Tim on the inside just gets the upper hand, but loses out to Bonnie in 6th and drops down to 7th. I quickly saw a message pop up on my screen in the chat. Can't wait for the F1 weekend to start up. I was going to say something and completely forgot. I'm glad you're excited. Let's say that for now. I can't quite remember what I was going to say. I was too distracted by the on-track battles. Speaking of, Tiger Assassin has lost out a huge amount to someone's off, and that is Toussaint off round in the gravel, and a huge crash for the Brits. Let's see what happened to Toussaint. I'm going to guess, did he ride the red sausage curb on the inside? He dips a wheel onto the gravel. That sends his KTM off into the gravel, and he was hunting down Play Dutchy, and now he's fighting for 11th place. Hugely unfortunate for him. It was looking so well. Here goes Manuel though, looking for a move down the inside and towards turn 1 and 2 on Tim. Can he get it done? The Austrian on the fin. Looks like he's got it done for now. Can Tim try a switchback move? Not quite. And a beautiful move from Finn puts his way up into 5th place. What's happened to Bonnie? He's down into 8th places now. Ted running in a stunning 7th place. I know he likes this track because he was a little bit disappointed when I removed it last season, and really, well, I know he liked it from the Group 4, drifting his way through turn 4. Maybe a little bit too happy to see this track back on the calendar. Loses out on a position to Bonnie Evil. Actually making a little bit of a mistake through turn 7. I think it's turn 7. And welcome everyone joining us in the chat. If you're unfamiliar with the format we've got going in this GT Sport League, we've got 9 races until GT7 launches on the 4th of March. But to spice things up, last season, or in previous seasons, we've done Group 3, we've done Group 4, we've done Group 2, we've pretty much done the shebang. But we've got 9 races and 9 different car classes. That's correct. 9 different cars in 9 races. This week's race, as you can see, is in the KTM Expo. And we got a fight for the lead on our hands. Finn versus Play Dutchy after Toussaint dropped out at the penultimate corner. Went to say hello to my good friend Barry R. And Tiger's lost a lot of ground on Tobster. He's now 2.5 seconds behind, fighting with Manuel and Tim. Piero on a recovery drive up into 8th place, has got Toussaint under pressure, right behind him, almost alongside. Here goes Wolfie. Is he going to go for a move? No, not quite. Ted in the background going wheel to wheel with Aston, former championship rivals in the Group B championship. We've kind of merged the two leagues together. Here goes Aston on the inside of the Irishman. These two go wheel to wheel. Ted onto the gravel and he's almost sideways. Aston lets him go back through. He might have thought the contact was too much, and the Irishman gets his way back up into 11th place. Finn trying to go for a move on Play Dutchy, but he couldn't quite make it stick. But it's great to see Finn fighting for the lead of this race. He's been in the lead so many times before, but never quite when the checkered flag has been waved. And he'll be looking to try and change that here tonight in these KTM Expos. I might have commentator cursed him in the past, but let's hope that history doesn't repeat itself and he can get a good result under his name. Running 4th in the championship so far, with his highest scoring finish in Laguna East when he finished 2nd place, and he's been on the podium twice this season, looking to try and make it 3 times with another addition further up the step. Here he goes down the inside of Play Dutchy. Can he get the move stick? There's a little bit of contact, but all fair and square at the end. Gets the move done up into the lead of the race. Meanwhile, I thought there was a change in position for 8th place, but Toussaint still ahead of Piero. Meanwhile, the lead out in front has changed. Dutchy now down into 2nd place. Tiger at the head of the train for now, with Manuel and Tim behind him, as Bonivu has got Toussaint, Piero and Wolfie closing in behind. If anyone's interested about the tyres, I believe everyone's on the mediums. 2 tyres available, the mediums and the softs, and both tyres are mandatory. If any new viewers as well just tuning in to the league, unlike last seasons where we've had one set kind of rule, each race, each week, we've got new tyres available and different mandatory tyres. This week it's the softs and the mediums available, and the softs and the mediums are mandatory. Last week we had only softs, as we had 3 sprint races, and the week before I think we had all 4 tyres available, but only the mediums were mandatory. I can't quite remember, but you get the sort. Through the final corner for the 8th time tonight, Finn now leads Play Dutchy across the line. Not only does he lead Play Dutchy, but he leads the rest of the field. 2.5 tenths, and that gap going down in the slipstream. Is Dutchy brave enough to send one down the inside? Is he late enough on the brakes? Finn has it covered for now. Manuel just losing a little bit to Tiger. Finn losing a little bit more. A second behind the Austrian. As Ted 1.2 seconds behind Aston and coming under pressure from Websons. Finn though under a lot of pressure from a 3-time GT Sport champion in this league. He's made a little bit of a mistake on the inside sausage curb. He's losing about a tenth a second. Here goes Play Dutchy. He's going to try and capitalise on that mistake to the inside. At turn 5, he runs over the sausage curb himself. Can Finn have the grip? Does he have the traction on exit to keep this wheel to wheel? They're alongside into the fast left-hander before the corkscrew. Finn just concedes and only just keeps it out of the gravel. These two putting a 5-second gap to the cars behind. That crap though, coming down at quite a rate after their wheel-to-wheel action. But it is Play Dutchy who gets the lead of the race. Meanwhile, Tim and Tiger going wheel-to-wheel in towards the corkscrew. Amazing wheel-to-wheel racing. Tim around the outside. That was a beautiful move from the Finn. We get an action replay from Finn. You can see how much speed he's got through the corner. And in a minute, we're not going to see Tiger anymore because he's on the outside, on the inside. And look at that, with the grip to go around the outside. Beautiful move from Finn. Gets himself up into 5th place and starts to hunt for Manuel. Speaking of Manuel, his teammates in 2nd place, trying to close the gap and overtake Play Dutchy to promote himself up into the lead of the race. Meanwhile, in the midfield, the gap's starting to open up slightly to about a second. I've got a feeling that the strategy is definitely going to have an impact in this race, although it's going to be a simple 1 or 2 stop undercuts on this game are super powerful. I'd say worn softs are probably as quick as fresh mediums. That's probably the level we're talking at. Obviously it depends on the car, the track, and how worn the softs are, but yeah, there is a significant difference in the tyres time difference. It's not what I was aiming to say, but that's what I said, so we're going to have to deal with it. Meanwhile, the battle for 5th place roars on, with Tim defending from Tiger Assassin, who's got a good run in towards the corkscrew. Is he going to repay the favour by going down the inside? This is going to get interesting. These two wheel to wheel into the corkscrew. Tiger's still on the inside. Can he hold it around the outside? Another beautiful move into the corkscrew. Not a corner you see many overtakes, but these two providing some thrilling wheel-to-wheel action. It's allowed Bonnie and Two Saints to catch up, and the train is only going to get bigger. Finn with a good exit through the final corner. He's closing in on Play Dutchy as they make their way across the start-finish line to start lap 11. Finn sees a gap on the inside. Does he go for it? Brakes early and backs out of the move. All about this battle for 5th place. Tiger Assassin ahead of Tim, Bonnie and Toussaint catching the train. Piero, I'm sure, will be on the back of it shortly. His teammate leading this race, but as things stand, I think Play Dutchy and Piero will be outscoring Tiger and Toussaint and extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship. .3 of a second is the gap out in front, and that gap really hasn't extended during this race. Dutchy not running away with it like he usually does. Finn is doing well to keep up with him and put him under some significant pressure. That's what makes this championship a lot more interesting going into the races. With different tracks, different car classes, you just don't know who's going to come out on top and which cars are going to suit each drivers. Tim and Tiger going wheel to wheel once again in towards the corkscrew. It's almost an exact replica of the previous 2 times they've done it. Tiger on the inside gets ahead of Tim on the outside, but this is beautiful stuff from these two. The replay, unfortunately we couldn't get it to go that far back, but all this for 5th place, but it could still be crucial points in the championship. Every time they go wheel to wheel, they cost themselves time to man well in front. Meanwhile, out in front, 0.3 of a second is the gap that Dutchy has to Finn. Look at this train though, going from 5th to 10th. You can see Wolfie in the background, 5th and 9th I think, sorry. Tiger from Tim to Toussaint to Bon Evil, Piero and Wolfie joining the back of this train, so shortly enough it will be 5th to 10th. Half the grid separated by nothing. Tiger with a mistake, Tim on the inside, these two going wheel to wheel. Tiger on the inside and towards turn 3. Can he make this stick? Tim running wide off the track onto the gravel. Tiger leaves in the room on the outside. As Tim now with the outside line. Toussaint on the inside. They're going 3 wide with Tim almost off the track. These cars might not be too bad off the track, with Bon Evil trying to get involved in the action as well. Tiger on the inside of his teammates, the 2 BCMR cars going wheel to wheel, with Bonnie looking interested in the background. He's now going down the inside of Toussaint, with Toussaint trying to go round the outside of Tiger Assassin. Look how much time they've lost to Tim in this wheel to wheel. Just a few corners of going wheel to wheel. Now Bonnie Evil on the inside of Toussaint. In the battle for 6th place, Bonnie on the inside backs out, going into the corkscrew, and Piero and Wolfie joining the back of this train. Absolutely incredible racing. Finn trying to go on the inside of Play Dutchy, becomes the outside for the final corner, but tucks in behind for now and serves a 5/10 penalty in the process. But wow, absolutely incredible stuff. Let's get a replay of everything that unfolded. We can get an on-board view just to see what happened. You can see Toussaint watching the battle between Tiger and Tim, forming pretty much a roadblock. Toussaint pushing Tiger as he lost the rear slightly through turn 4 in towards turn 5. Tim running wide off the track. Toussaint takes the opportunity to go wheel to wheel with his teammate. The run from Bon Evil in the background sees a gap through the middle, doesn't decide to go for that one. waits for the action to unfold. Toussaint goes a little bit deep wide, trying to go around the outside of Tiger. Bonnie then gets a good line up the hill. Tim's got the best view in the house looking at this. Tiger and Toussaint going side by side. Then Tiger's got the shot of Bonnie and Toussaint going wheel to wheel. And then Bonnie backs out, going into the corkscrew. Incredible racing. But, wow. They lost a lot of time to Tim, though. 1.3 seconds is the gap to the Finnish driver in 5th place. Will be dropping off this train now, 1.2 seconds. Piero keeping in with Bonnie. Toussaint and Tiger maybe trying to brought their ties. Toussaint was going to go for a move on the inside into the corkscrew. Backs out of it though. 5/10 is the gap to his teammate. As Finn still putting Dutchy under pressure. Let's have an update on their tyres. I believe everyone's on the mediums. We can quickly flick through to see how worn they are. Webson's is off in the back. What an unfortunate time to flick through the drivers. We'll get an extended replay to see what happened as he makes his way up the hill in towards the fast left-hander. Does he hit the inside sausage curb? No, he doesn't. He just runs wide onto the gravel. And he keeps it out of the barriers. Only just though. As let's get the lap times back up on the screen as Tiger now 1.6 seconds behind Bonevil on the inside of Pierre on the inside of Bonevil. Was there contact? We kind of just saw the end of that. Let's have a look at it again from Pierre's view. Bonnie going wide towards turn 1, Pierre on the inside. There was a slight tap. 5.2 seconds is the lead Play Dutchy and Finn have. They are storming away with it. Toussaint now ahead of Tiger Assassin. I'm going to assume team orders were involved. That's now Toussaint's job to put the pressure on Tim. I'm not too sure if there were team orders or if it was a mistake, because that gap's now opened up by a second to 2.5 seconds. Was there a mistake from Tiger, or did these two go wheel to wheel? It's hard to tell. Maybe the swap was unplanned. We'll have to wait and see. We're kind of almost approaching the pit stop phase, maybe 10 more minutes until we see drivers coming into the pits. We're not even halfway through this race yet. Let's get everything back up on the screen. We've been racing for 23 minutes. And that is enough for 15 laps. So you do the maths. This race should be under an hour, just like they've all been this and last season. Obviously doing a lap and then calculating how long it will take to do X many laps in 60 or so minutes. Rather than having a 60-minute countdown, we've changed it to a lap number count. We have done for the past two seasons, I think, now. That train from 5th to 9th, it's still there, but just slightly more spread out than it was a few laps ago. Tim trying to, well, he's got a bit of got lots of clean air in front of him. He can start pushing 3.5 seconds, to Manuel. That gap though has come down behind. Toussaint clearly pushing to try and close down the gap, bring his teammate along with him, but also two championship rivals. As a Finn is still looking at the back of Dutchy's Expo. As we start lap 16 of 36, 21 laps to go. And Finn's overtaken Dutchy once tonight. Can he find another way through? Tops to 6 seconds behind his fellow German. Could finish on the podium this week. What a good result it will be for him, whose highest finish was in Monza, where he finished 5th, I think. No, 6th, I think. I think it's 6th. Tops his highest finish this season. Could be back on the podium. His tyre wear though is looking a little bit more worn than the cars around him. Shouldn't affect it too much, maybe half a tenth, but yeah, all the drivers fairly close to one another in terms of their tyre performance. Finn's lost a little bit of time to play Dutchy. The gap 6/10. A little bit of a mistake though from Dutchy brings the gap right down to 3.5 tenths of a second. It's rare we see Dutchy make a mistake. One that's brought Finn back into the slipstream range. Has Finn got the little bit extra to try and go for a move on Play Dutchy? Picks up a 5/10 penalty, so already served a tenth of it. Looks like a good penalty serving corner. Is this final corner here? You can see the penalty is 4/10, and it drops down to 3-2-1-0. Maybe we should have had strict corner cutting penalties on for this race. We always run strict when we run at Austria because it is ridiculously easy to serve penalties. You can serve like 1.2 seconds at turn 3. Bonnie Evil's into the pits off of the mediums. Probably will finish the rest of this race on the soft, and it's a huge undercut attempt if he's to make it work. The tyres at the end of the race definitely not going to favour him compared to the drivers around him. The first one to pull the trigger. We'll have to wait and see how far the bullet will fly. Don't know if that analogy made sense, but we'll wait and see if it does. As Finn's just starting to lose touch of Play Dutchy. The gap 9/10 of a second on lap 17. Gap starting to open up a bit. Dutchy had a really good corkscrew. Finn not as much. Not sure what's happened to Tiger Assassin either. Looks like he might have just lost the position to Pierre. No, he's lost it previously. He's now down towards 8th place and 1.6 seconds behind the Frenchman. He must have made a mistake somewhere as Finn serving the penalty towards the final corner. He'll be trying his best to close down the gap to Play Dutchy. Tim with a 3-second gap to Manuel. I think that gap has slowly come down in the last few laps. Manuel gaining on top of her as well, trying to stop him from getting his first podium of the season. To be fair, neither driver has finished on the podium this season, and that gap has come down quite significantly. 5/10, 4/10 as Topster makes a slight error through turn 3. Just runs a little bit wide on the exit of the corner. It looks like they're starting to lap someone. Is this Webson's after his earlier mistake at this exact corner? To be exact, sorry. Topster and Manuel going wheel to wheel up the hill and the run down towards the corkscrew. No longer wheel to wheel because Manuel gets ahead and is now up into the podium position. And what a good result this would be for Manuel and Finn, running in 2nd and 3rd place. One of their drivers hunting down the race leader. Actually, one of them is now into the pits and is pulling the undercut. We're halfway through this race. Is Manuel going to follow his teammate in? No, he's not. Finn pulling the undercut on Dutchy. You'd think he may react. And Pierro's also into the pits. The problem is that I think in the past we've seen a lot of drivers pitting early and then other drivers not reacting, staying out too long on a worn set of tyres and losing 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds to the car they were battling with. It's happened, I think, too often to ignore. And you'd think some drivers might be learning from previous experiences that the undercut is powerful. Finn forcing an undercut will Play Dutchy react. You'd think he would, although each driver has their strategies and their plans sorted from the start. Bearing in mind as well, Bon Evil pitted on the first few laps of his, well, I think it was lap 16, he pitted. He's now in a 10th place, going wheel to wheel with Piero going out of the pit lane. No longer wheel to wheel because Piero is going down inside and towards turn 2, and will come out just behind Bon Evil. It's close, but Bonnie is ahead. Where is Finn? He's got 40 seconds, 40 and a half seconds to play Dutchy. Is he on the soft? He is on the soft compound tyres. Does Dutchy pit? Yes, he does. He reacts smartly to Finn. What about Manuel and Topster? Is Topster going to try an undercut attempt as these two go through the final corner? Manuel pits. Topster stays out another lap. Are we going to see anyone else dive into the pits? We are going to see Toussaint pit. I think we might see Tiger Assassin follow him through. Yes, he does. I'm going to guess Wolfie will. No, he thought about it. I think he thought about it. He pulled over to the inside. Backed out of it last minute though. But we can now say Wolfie is running in a podium position and joins his teammate who led laps last week in Sardinia, but was quickly ruined by an incident at turn 2. Where will Finn play out in this battle with Play Dutchy? He was a second behind going into the pits, pitted a lap earlier. Dutchy on the new set of tyres is coming out the pit lane now. This is going to be close. Riding on board with Finn, you can see the car going over down the hill. Dutchy though is going to have the inside line, but he's going to be slower. He's going to be slower. Is he going to be ahead? Oh, this is going to be close. I think he's got it. I think Dutchy might have it. And he does. He's got it by quite a margin though. That must have been a really good in-lap from Play Dutchy. He's kept it by... The gap's kind of stayed the same. But he is now still in the lead of this race. Tim and Thompson are 1 and 2 in this race. How it's changed so much, but obviously these two are yet to make a pit stop. Has Thompson made a mistake actually? Because I'm pretty certain he was behind Tim, ahead of Tim, in 4th place. I'm not sure what's happened to Topster. We'll have a look at his lap time if he doesn't pit, but he does pit this lap, follows his teammate in. I think we'll see Wolfie into the pits as well. Does he want to lead some laps? He is going to smartly dive it into the pits. Finn is going purple and he's gaining on Play Dutchy. The gap now a second between those two. Tiger's lost out in the pit lane. He's 4 seconds behind Piero, who's played the strategy bang on. Bon Evil's undercut them all, but is going to be on a lot more worn tyres towards the end of this race. Where's Manuel going to come out in his battle with Topster? That would have cost him a mistake riding the sausage curb through the penultimate corner. That might be enough to give Topster the upper hand and come out in front of the Austrian driver. He's not quite left the pit box though, so I think Manuel's going to have this. He's still putting in fuel. And yeah, Manuel's got it. Manuel's definitely got it. Already at turn 1. Topster's going to filter out behind Piero. So he must have made a mistake somewhere for him to be out behind Piero and ahead of Tiger Assassin. Not sure what happened, but you can see his lap was a 2:21. If we look at Tiger's, it was a 2:15, so he's lost 6 seconds somewhere on the last lap. Bon Evil's now up into 4th place. He's undercut half the grid, but look at the tyre difference between him and Tim. That's going to be a huge factor at the end of this race. He's got the chasing pack in pursuit. Toussaint, Piero and Topster hunting him down. Finn chasing down your race and championship leader, Play Dutchy. Has he got enough? Has he got enough to win this race? You can see Dutchy's helmet. You can see Dutchy's suit in the car. We've seen it too many times at the end of the race on the top step of the podium. Let's hope we see that suit and that helmet after the race tonight. Finn putting Dutchy under pressure. The gap 0.3 of a second, 0.2 going through turn 2 for the 22nd time this race. The car in second place will be trying to get himself an extra 5 points, as he actually does possess the fastest lap of the race. So we'll get an extra point, and Bon Evil undercutting half the grid is starting to backfire. He's already lost 2 positions in the last lap. He's now down to 6th place and is under pressure from Piero, riding on board with the Frenchman going through turn 4. Backhand stepping out just a little bit, losing a little bit of time in the run down towards turn 5. But Bonnie's worn tyres are certainly going to impact him at the end of this race, and maybe earlier than anticipated. He did pit really early off of the mediums. I think he pitted lap 15 or 16, which is not even halfway through the race, off of the more durable tyre. Goes on to the quicker soft, the sport soft. No racing tyres available this weekend. Starting lap 23, Finn is 0.3 behind Play Dutchy, going through turn 1, but he's not close enough to go for a move. What about Toussaint and Tim? The gap 0.4 between themselves and 0.6 between Piero and Bon Evil. Topster battling away with Tiger Assassin, who's lost time to Piero, so maybe another mistake from Topster. Is running in 8th place. My viewers, ladies and gentlemen, how could I forget? We got no track facts. Oh no. That is... we'll go through the track facts now. So, Laguna Seca, let's talk a little bit about the track. We've got 11 corners that make up this track, which is 2.2 miles long, or 3.6 kilometers. The lap record, I don't know what cars this is in, but it's 1:07, 1 minute 7. Certainly not the KTM Expos. We're in the 1 minute 35s. It's the current fastest lap of this race. Tiger Assassin's got ahead of Topster. And fun fact, the original circuit was only 1.9 miles long and only had 9 corners. Certainly a lot different than it is today. I think, if I remember correctly, turn 2, which is this corner here, goes straight to turn 5, which Webson's is approaching. This left-hander here. No, the one that he just gone through, so the left-hander that Ted's going through now, and he's ran a little bit wide onto the gravel, but keeps it going in a straight line. Tiger and Topster running closely together on track. 8th, Tiger's up onto the sausage curb. He's rally crossing off into the gravel, and that allows Topster to go through up and towards 8th place. A mistake from Tiger. Let's get a replay to see what happened once again. Rights the sausage curb, unsettles the car off into the gravel, and that's all the gift that Topster needs to get his way up and towards 8th place. Back up to the battle for the lead. Between Dutchy and Finn, running 1 and 2, 5/10 separating the front runners, 11 seconds clear of Manuel. Tim 3.5 ahead of Toussaint, as a Dutchy sets the new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 35.5. As this slipstream train makes its way through the final corner, with Tim leading it in 4th place ahead of Toussaint, Bonnie and Piero. Play Dutchy leading this race, still only 4/10 ahead of Finn. These two absolutely on fire in these cars of cars. Apologies, I can't wait for next week. We're in Alpines. The Alpine Vision GT, a car that was created by the developers. It's a VGT car. So not a real car, but looks absolutely amazing. I'll show you after the race what the car is. We'll be in next week, and we're at Tokyo Expressway for the South Inner Loop, or the South Inner Loop, the SIL. Last time we raced there was in season 2, I think, where we were in Group 3. The winner of that race was Play Dutchy. I remember it well because I think it was Toussaint or Tiger was overtaken on the last lap. All I remember, it was a green and yellow Aston Martin, and their name began with T. I think it was Toussaint, but don't quote me on that. Go check out our YouTube channel, Gavra Racing. Go over to playlist, look for GT Sport Season 2, head down to, I think it was round 10. It was near the end of the season, but my memory's not too great to remember who won, who came second, and what round it was. All I remember, it was at season 2. We've only been there once. We've raced at Tokyo Expressway South Inner, East Inner, and we're going back to South Inner. Maybe on GT7 we'll go to East Outer. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we're on lap 26 of 36, 11 laps to go here at Laguna Seca for round number 5 of season 5 of the GT Sport League. Tim currently, Toussaint running in P5 to keep up the theme of 5s. There's 5 seconds behind on Manuel. Play Dutchy, we're looking to try and get his... Oh, that doesn't work. He's already got 5 wins. I was going to looking to try and get his 5th win, but I forgot he did win. Yeah, never mind. Forget that. But we were able to keep up the train of 5s for as long as we can. Season 5, round 5, Toussaint in 5th, 5 seconds behind Manuel. Tiger looks to try and get his 5th podium of the season, running though down in 9th place, 1.8 seconds behind Topster. There we go. Piero in 6th place, now ahead of Bon Evil. We'll be looking to try and get some good points for the Constructors' Championship. Dutchy and Piero on 187 points. Tiger and Toussaint behind on 136.5 points. As we've got 3 teams on half points. 6 drivers on half points. If you're unfamiliar or confused as to how drivers are on half points, last week we had 3 races at Sardinia C, B and A, 3 20-minute sprints, and we had half points awarded for our usual point system. To quickly run through the point system from 1st to 12th, we've got 20, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 0. 1 point for the fastest lap, so a maximum of 26 points up the grabs on a race weekend, or a Friday evening in fact. Dutch used to starting to pull us a slight gap to Finn, 1.4 seconds now into the advantage out in front, which means the closest battle on track is the battle for 4th place between Toussaint and Tim. And I said it in Suzuka when they were going wheel to wheel. Toussaint drifting. Let's get another replay of that. Beautiful stuff. But yeah, like I was saying, I said it in Suzuka when these two are going side by side. Championship rivals they could be, and they're fighting it out on track. Only 7 points separate these two, running in 3rd and 5th place in the championship. Finn in between on 75 points, Tim on 79, and Toussaint on 72. Have a flick through to see if we've got any on-track battles further down the grid. They kind of got I think Aston, Ted and Webson's, Wolfie is, well, kind of in a race of their own. They've got quite big margins to the nearest car in front. You've got 11 seconds between Wolfie and Aston, 28 seconds to Webson's, 11 seconds to Ted, rounding out back of the grid. And they will be the only driver to score no points if it finishes as it stands now, with Dan not scoring any points either because he is not here. Tim putting out a bit of a gap to Saint. And with Tiger closing in on the back of Thompson, becomes the closest battle out on track. 2 tenths and closing, going into the corkscrew. Is Tiger going to send one to the outside? He's going to try something with an alternate line maybe in towards the final few corners as they finish the middle sector and start sector 3. Maybe on the inside, but not close enough or alongside to really go for anything. Tiger just going to try and set himself up for a move where he can. Both run it a little bit wide through the penultimate corners. They approach the final corner, turn 11. And only 2.5 tenths separating them. They could be wheel to wheel as they make their way up the hill in towards turn 1. Riding on the front of Tiger's Expo. Which way would he go? Which way will Thompson go? In towards turn 1. Thompson defends the inside line. Tiger going to try and go for this around the outside. Maybe try a switchback move on the exit. No, not quite. He's got a good run though to the inside. Is he going to send one on the inside? He thinks about it. Thompson leaves him all the space he needs on the inside. Runs a little bit wide through turn 3 into turn 4. Now they go with Tiger on the inside. Thompson trying to hold it on the outside. Can he make the stick? They're still going to go wheel to wheel, but Thompson gets the drive and gets up into 8th place. 1.3 seconds is the gap out in front. 1.4 between Toussaint and Tim. That battle starting to lose touch. The two drivers starting to fade away from each other. Tiger gaining on Thompson up the hill into towards the corkscrew. You can just see the amount of elevation there is going in towards the dip. Is he going to go for something on the outside? Thompson's gone a bit deeply on the brakes, is on the gravel, and Tiger goes round the outside up into 8th place. Thompson might even get a penalty for it. No, he doesn't. The time he lost was significant enough for the game not to penalise him. Thompson's now losing touch of Tiger after that mistake. 1.9 seconds separating him and Tiger. The closest battle now between Piero and Bonivel in 6th, 7th place. Piero trying to work his way through the field. They're on a comeback drive after making a mistake early on, which dropped him to the back of the field, but he's now been able to slice his way through the grid. Now finds himself running in 6th position, crucially ahead of one of his one of his rivals in both the Drivers and the Constructors Championships. Dutchy extending his lead to 2.4 seconds to Finn with only 7 laps left to go. It's probably going to take a mistake from Play Dutchy if Finn's going to win this race, but don't count it out. Actually, thinking about it, to all those long-term viewers who have seen, who have tuned into Gavra Racing streams for some time, you'll know what this man likes to say often. Often causes the yellow coloured flag to be deployed, and often something happens when we say this word. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have reached a bit of a lull in this race. Now, for those new viewers who are unaware of what that means, is more often than not, within the first 5 minutes of using that word, someone crashes. Someone at random falls victim to the word, and the fastest, the world record we have is 8 seconds. Interlagos Premier Series, two F1 seasons ago. Season 3 or 4 of the Premier Series. Yellow flags! This is exactly what I was talking about. Who is it? Who has fallen victim? I can see them on the map. We're about to see them now as Piero goes through. It is Ted running in 13th place, so Ted was the first victim of the lull. He's already off, going through the corkscrew, and it reset him to track way before, down at turn 6, I think it is. So there you go, there you have it. The lull has struck, and look what else has happened. Finn has gained 5/10 on Play-Duchy. It's working. The magic started to die as we have the winter break, but it's slowly starting to work its way back up into its full potential. Maybe, just maybe, we'll never know. We'll have to wait and see. There's still plenty of time. Two seconds is the gap out in front. Can Duchy make it 6 wins from 7 races here in round 5? The only race he didn't win was the one in Sardinia B, when he started from the back of the grid, but still was able to finish in a solid 3rd place and on the podium, keeping up his 100% podium record. So far this season. Low hasn't worked as much as I thought it would. Fortunately, Ted was the sole to be eliminated. I think that was a mistake from Tobster, actually. Let's have a look at the replay features. Does he ride the sausage curve? Yes, he does, and he goes off into the gravel. So there's the second victim of the low effect. And I thought I saw an arrow moving slowly on the map. Indeed, I did. I don't miss these things, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a keen eye for this sort of stuff. Lap 33 of 36, we've only got 4 to go. Duchy still leads the way, but Finn can see him in his sights, going through turn 4, pushing every single lap, every single corner to try and win this race. Finn and Manuel, those solid 2nd and 3rd place finish from them. Try and get some extra points in constructors and close down the gap to their rivals ahead. Toussaint and Tiger down in 5th and 8th place. Seeing as there's not many on-track overtakes happening at the minute, let's get an onboard lap from Play-Duchy. Actually, let's get a cockpit cam on that view. The last time we've done this, he crashed. So maybe there's, history may repeat itself. Going through turn 3, braking just before the 1 meter board. A little dab on the brakes, nothing too much. You can see the suspension on the front left on the curb. It keeps it out of the sausage curb on the inside. Going through turn 4, it's a fairly mediocre run down towards turn 5. Braking at about the 2 board, downshifting into 3rd, gets the car rotated nicely using all the curb available on the right hand side of the track. Up the hill in towards a fast left-hander, a little dab on the brakes, missing the Sausage curb on the inside, almost though, coming into contact with it. Up the hill, you can't even see where the corkscrew is, braking kind of as the tarmac darkens in the middle of the track, using all the curb available on the in and outside, turning in nice and early for the right-hander. Through a long swooping left-hander, you really don't want to hit that sausage curb on the inside either, braking at the 2 metre board, just a little dab on the brakes, which see him go through the penultimate corner, runs a little bit wide, but it's nothing too bad. Braking at the 3 board for the final corner, using the sausage curb on the inside, the one sausage curb you can use, and that is a lap from Play Dutchies. I think Finn might have made a mistake. He's lost a lot of time to the Dutchman. Let's have a look and see. We hit the sausage curb and he's ran wide onto the gravel. Not as bad as the other drivers we've seen this race. Tim has closed down that gap to Manuel. It's 1.6 seconds, but has he got enough left in him to go for a move? He's pulled out a gap to 2.8 now, almost 6.5 seconds. But it looks like Play Dutchy is set to take another win here tonight at Laguna Seca. Never say never though, that helmet there might be another one we see on the top step at the podium. We'll just have to wait and see. Finn put him under his pressure for as long as he could. Dutchy handled it well. Finn eventually got the move done, but a few laps later, Dutchy re-overtook him, which puts him back into the position he is now, leading this race on the penultimate lap. It's been a solid but quiet drive from Manuel, I think it's fair to say. Running in third place. It's been a quiet drive for a lot of these drivers at the end of this race, as Aston's into the pits to probably go for the fastest lap attempt. Running in 11th place. Yeah, will come out ahead of Webson's when he makes his pit stop. Dutchy though starts the final lap for the here in the Expos at Laguna Seca. In round 5, he's absolutely unstoppable this season. Everyone making their way through the final sector. Will be running in 10th place, 4 seconds behind Tobster, 42 seconds though ahead of Aston, the only one 2 stopping, trying to go for the fastest lap of the race. Finn has put Dutchy under a huge amount of pressure this race, sticking with him for as long as he could. Went for the move eventually and was able to get it done. Led a few laps here in Laguna Seca, but it wasn't to be in the end. Play Dutchy handled the pressure well. He got back past the German and has led pretty much since. Finn tried the undercut, almost worked, but Dutchy's in lap was enough to get him out ahead. He goes through the corkscrew for the final time this race in the lead. He's led the field for the majority of this season, and he's doing it once again tonight in Laguna Seca. He's got five wins to his name this season, 6 podiums from 6 here in round 5. There's only 1 corner to go, and it could still be the treble unless Aston gets the fastest lap of the race. He started on pole, he's got the fastest lap, he's almost led every lap. Finn put him under pressure, but he's replied. Dutchy wins here in Laguna Seca, and this is the first to see the checkered flag. Finn in a stunning podium position, 2nd place for him, and it's a 2-3 for Finn and Manuel. The FGR teammates both on the podium, and Tim 1.9 seconds behind in 4th place. Amazing battles throughout the grid. In the end, it was 2 Stately finished in 5th ahead of Piero in 6th. A sterling job from him from his lap 1 incident. Bon Evil in 7th, with Tiger in 8th and Tobster in 9th, beating up Wolfie in 10th. Aston in 11th, going for the fastest lap. We'll have to wait and see if he can beat it or not. Webson's going will to will with Finn, even though he has crossed the line and finished the race. Ted in 13th place would be one of 2 drivers not scoring points. Him and Dan, although Dan's not exactly here, so won't be scoring points anyway. Someone has actually gone off at turn 1. I don't know how that's happened, but it's Topster who's disconnected, so that'll be why there's a car stopped. As Ted crosses the line, and we wait to see if Aston can get the fastest lap away from Dutchy. It's currently a 35.5. He rounds the final corner. Does he get the fastest lap of the race? No, he doesn't, but he does set a new personal best by 0.8 of a second. It was a nice try to get the extra point. And there you have the round 5, season 5, and it's the same helmet on the top step of the podium. Dutchy wins here in Laguna Seca, with Finn in second and Manuel in third place. We can save the replay and get the race results up on the screen. Play Dutchy wins here in Laguna Seca, with Finn in second and Manuel in third. Tim finishing in fourth place, with Toussaint in fifth and Piero in sixth. Bonneville in eighth, Tiger Assassin in ninth, and it was Topster in ninth place before he disconnected, so we'll still score points. Wolfie in 10th, Aston in 11th, Webson's in 12th, and Ted in 13th place. Dutchy with the fastest lap in the end. Thank you ever so much for watching. I'm actually going to quickly show you the cars we are racing in next week. If I change the car class to Group X, I can then select it. There it is, the Alpine Vision GT. I'll enter the race. I need to put on the sport tyres. There you go. There you have it. These are the cars that we are racing in next week. Don't they look amazing? I can't wait to see these out on track. There you have it. I've been XAG. I hope you have enjoyed. Make sure to follow the Twitch, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.